Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you guys could take time out to make it. Of course, I know that for many of you, you're getting so caught up on your crafting. So that is one good positive thing. Hi, Kathy. How are you? So I want to let everybody know a couple of things before we start. We have plenty of Farmhouse in stock, but with schools out and whatnot, my house is kind of the drop-off place. So, and you might hear a lot of background noise. Good morning. So please be patient with the background noise. The kids are very respectful. It's not really the kids I worry about. It's Wilbur. He's so excited. He has people here to play with. So you will hear background noise, and I'll try and keep it to, hopefully Wilbur will behave. Hey, Sheila, how are you? So I also want to let you know that right now with everybody home, this might be a good time to check out our our craft. I can't speak this morning. Hi, Pat Luna. We have a craft cafe. It's where we do our swaps for Country Craft Creations. And right now we have some really fun swaps going on that you still can get into, where we're sending Happy Mail to each other in our group, where we're doing the Easter basket swap. So if you are looking for some Happy Mail or just something else to get involved in, check out the Country Craft Creations Creative Cafe. That's what it's called. So we're going to get started on the album. And this is the Farmhouse album. And I want to show you, I started on the pages, but we're going to do the cover today because this is kind of a intense cover. I've decided to do a couple of different things. I'm actually going to change. I didn't do a hinge with you because I'm changing possibly what I'll be doing. So that's our insert. We go through this every time. Like I said, how on earth do you have everything right here and lose it? It's in front of me. Sitting right there in front of me. So I am going to do this album a couple of different ways. So be patient with me. We'll get it done, and I will get it posted this weekend. So the inside, as you can see, we're not done, but I'm going to be doing this 2 different styles so that you can decide what you want. It'll make more sense when you see it this weekend when I have it finished on the inside. And what we're going to do is the cover this week, and we're going to do the tutorial for the pages next week, since our Las Vegas retreat has been moved to August. So what I've done on page 1, and after I started doing all the pages, that's when I decided I wanted something different. So that's why this did not get done. And then we have our insert and the apron. If you have a Cricut or if you have a silhouette, I will tell you what I used, or you can definitely hand draw it, and I will get you I'll make a template for you. But anyway, this is the insert that you're going to be able to use for your recipes. And I'm not quite done with it. And then this will sit. It's going to be your insert on the inside of your pages. And what I'm doing is I'm creating this without using magnets. And I'm trying to not go there with magnets, and then the back side. So that's where I've gotten, just so you know. But I am going to finish the pages, but I'm also going to change the inside, so we don't have that part to show you yet. But today we're going to create the cover itself. So the video might run a little long, and then we're going to be doing the back. Oh, goodness. There goes the camera. Don't know why. Sorry. So cover, spines, back. Yeah, this paper is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the only thing is I may change this cover cut apart since this will be my second album. I'm kind of leaning toward Life is Better on the Porch. I might go with the cow. And I might go with these guys. It just depends when we get there. Yeah, the ocean blue, we're all finished. We finished that last week. And you can watch the walkthrough for the ocean blue if you want to go through to see how it was papered. But yeah, we're all finished. We're going to get started with the cutting guide. Also, I'm not going to have a written cutting guide. You can, well, on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook, you'll find the cutting guide. Grab your notebook because you're going to write it down. This is what I do. And so there is no cutting guide. So yeah, if you guys ask for one, the answer is no. Just follow on Scrapbookers. There's no kit for this one. I'm using the 12 by 12 collection kit, the 8 by 8 paper pad, the patterns and solids, the sticker sheet that comes with your collection kit, chipboards, die cuts, and the ephemera cards. So if you want to order it, just order one of everything. Isn't that the cutest? Just order one of everything. Hi, Jackie. And basically the rest of it, you'll just use stuff from your stash. I'll show you. And if there's anything that I'm going to use that's available at the store, I'll let you know that too. So if you're ready to write down your measurements for your chipboard, you have 2 pieces, front and back cover, 6 1/2 by 8 1/2. 2 spine pieces. You need one for each side. These are 2 1/2. Hi, TC. 2 1/2 by 8 1/2. The flap that comes over is 8 1/2 by 3. I'll give those to you again. I'm not using magnets. I'm using this clippy. And if you did get the Craftology kit for March, you actually might have an extra one in your kit. And that's what I use because I like it better than a magnet. I don't want this. Sometimes our magnets, when we get this stacked full, they really don't hold. I mean, they hold, but you know, if your album starts getting fat. So once again, 2 6 1/2 by 8 1/2, 2 2 1/2 by 8 1/2, 1 3 by 8 1/2. And I didn't put the stuff on the back because I wanted you to see how I do it. So once I get everything on here, and yes, some of it isn't covered, but we're going to cover that with the next sheet. And I'll cover the rest with you. If you're going to use your favorite adhesive, you may not be doing this. But this makes it so fast. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Diane. In fact, okay, this is also, we're wrapping each piece separate. So I'm going to show you how to incorporate that lay flat, which your album will lay super flat when you have more than just a cover, front, back, and spine. Hello, Sally. So if I tend to be quiet, it's because I'm going to be thinking at times. I do not want to screw this up with you. Let's go ahead. If you have your 8 1/2 sheets of score tape, makes album making so much easier. And I have to tell you, I don't use my rolls very often. You just lay this down. And I'll go back on that piece that's missing one. Well, how about, there we go. Hello, Sherry. So to make your cover, I used 2 sheets, the 12 by 12 chipboard, 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 score tape, and 3 sheets of the gray cardstock to wrap our album with. I have glue. No. Hi, Judy. And yeah, this is the piece that was missing. I don't save those tiny small pieces. No need for it. Just cleaning up. Okay. Hi, Darlene. So it looks like we are all ready. Yes, Wilbur might be loud. He's pretty happy today. Okay. We're wrapping each piece separate. And let me give you the measurements for the cardstock and also tell you that I did a change from what I put on Scrapbookers. Hi, Janet. So on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, it's our group. It is where we post all the measurements and different things. So if you want to join, you do have to send a friend request, but you also have to answer the questions. So answer the questions or the admins won't approve you. In the original, I put down that you needed 2 4.5 by 10.5. If you remember when we did the ocean blue, I extended these wings that go out on the side, and I decided to do it for this. But you will use those 4.5 pieces if you cut them. If you want to do it 5.5, go ahead and cut these. I cut these at 5.5 instead of 4.5. So I added that extra inch, so it's going to be 1.5 inches. I like the way, and you'll see it. I like the way. See this one? And actually, I ripped this album cover apart. It's so easy with this method. You just take a razor blade, cut off the parts you mess up, and you don't have a ruined cover. See? And then I can still use it. That's why I love it. I want to extend this wing here out to here. So it's over that. I really liked it. See better when it came to not making such a thickness of paper there. So I changed these to 5.5 to 10.5. Again, if you have them 4.5, you can leave them, but you're going to use them. Then you need a sheet that is also 5 by 10.5. And then you need 2 8.5 by 10.5. And that's going to give you 1 inch. So when you're figuring that out, just take your chipboard, 6.5, and add 1 inch for each side. Simple. And then my handy dandy self-made 1 inch from leftover chipboard. Or just have 1 inch all the way around. We are making the Farmhouse G45 Farmhouse cover. We just started. And we're doing the matting because we want to get that all done on a super flat surface. Now my spacers are just 1 inch chipboard that was left over from my old project. Yep, there you go. And using my scoreboard, that just makes it so much easier. Can't find an edge. There we go. I knew it was going to stick. Okay, we're just going to keep going. So my 5-inch piece is for your 3-inch piece. Oh, yeah, and they're cheap. Joyce, love my spacers. Sometimes, though, I wonder, did I get that one off? Yeah, mine's just a little off. Time to cut new ones. So this is my 3-inch paper. I mean, this is my 3-inch by 8.5. So this is my 5-inch by 10.5. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit now that I've determined that's a hair short. Butt it up there, and you're good. It does take just a little extra long when you're dealing with extra pieces. Now, this is 2.5. But remember, I wanted to extend these wings out to go past, to get rid of some bulk. So that's 1.5 inches on each side. It's time to cut a new 1.5 inch spacer. Let me grab some chipboard. We are going to need 1.5 inches on each side. An 1.5 inches top and bottom. Now I'll have my 1.5 inch spacers. Oh, you're so sweet, Sherry. Thank you. Perfect. Now what I'll do is I'll just save those. They'll go over in my tool drawer and I'll grab them when I'm doing. Yes, Debbie. And I'll tell you what, and it's cheap. You don't have to buy any special tools, and then you can tape them. So sometimes I'll take either leftover score tape or just, if you want to join them. It's called the Redneck Way. It's Country Craft Creations, right? For those of you that know me and have followed me for years, our paper needed to be longer. I detest buying tools. I detest it. This will work, but I forgot to add to my length. Need to add 1 inch, so 11.5. Let's try this again. Let's get a scrap piece. So it also needs to be 5.5 by 11.5. Oops. So you really only need, you only need 1 inch at the top, Judy. Sometimes I forget my own self, right? I'm going to go with this, though, because it will wrap it. So I'll cut this down to 1/2 inch. So, guys, this is where I needed to be quiet for a moment. And for this one, I'm going to even that one up. So we only do need 1 for the top. We're going to pretend we're starting over. 5.5 still by 10.5. We only need 1.5 on the sides, and we only need 1 inch at the top. we're good. Hey, it can't be perfect every single time, right? There has to be one error. There we go. Joyce, use on this particular, just use an inch at the top. You still only need an inch top and bottom. You don't need, you only need that extra on the sides. To be honest, you don't have to have it on the sides. It just will lay a lot nicer in your book. There we go. Sometimes I scare myself. Hi, Annette. How are you? Hi, Bobby. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start with the spine pieces. So if you haven't made the lay flat cover, the whole idea with this lay flat cover is even after if you follow the ocean blue, this is going to lay perfectly flat, which is absolutely fabulous. See this? You can make a completely flat, even when you put all that stuff in your mini albums like we did with the Christmas one, your album's still going to give you that nice flat lay. This is where I wanted the extra width to come in here to cover. And if you've never made this, you'll see why. It just lays nicer. So I'm going to start with the spines, especially the one that I just cut a little short to show you it's okay. If you're using your artisan, do make sure you're burnishing those edges. Hi, Ashley. Yay. This is such a perfect paper for you. You can make one for the cows. The reason I do this, you sometimes notice you have a little, I don't know what you call it. It just isn't nice and straight. I like everything straight. Little short, but I'll be okay with it. Ready? We're going to fold that right over our chipboard. If you are using a different cardstock, it might just check it first. It might not go as nice. So if you know your cardstock, just kind of work it. There, see how that kind of pushed it out? That's why I want to bring everything just into a nice straight line. Now, mine's gonna look a little different, but you're gonna do it the exact same. But first, also now you see it's a little rough, so we're gonna turn it over. Bone folder that you know is blunt. You want to smooth that right out. Yes, okay. We are having art glitter glue. It's actually being shipped to me. So art glitter glue will be back on my website next week. Now, you're going to just fold this right over after you've creased it. Ashley has more than one cow, Sally. Yep, she's got more than one cow. Scissors. Now, hopefully you have more here than I do. If not, you're just going to go from this corner to this corner. It's going to look a little bit smaller than usual, because that should be an inch. You'll see it better on the next one, but you'll get that silo shape. You know, the silos we're going to stuff Sally into. And she can have all the corn feed she wants. Just kidding, Sally. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this down, and I'd kind of wait, maybe follow me on the next one that's correct. Uh-oh. I gotta grab some tape. I don't use it very often. I have squeaky shoes. Sorry. Okay, right here. Just right here in the center. You might, hopefully we'll get 2 strips down. You'll see it on the next one. It'll be correct. I just wanted to get this one out of the way. Ashley, Sally's never been on a farm. She doesn't understand how much work some animals are. Okay. Oops. I have my glue here. I usually use board tape here now, but because this is such a small area, so if you ended up with such a small area, we're just going to use the glue. We'll use tape all across on the next one, but there's not enough room. I'm going to squish that glue. Lynn, am I going too fast? You said you can't keep up? Yeah, I don't nap either, Sally. And I don't watch soap operas either. Okay, we just want that down. We want it attached. Oh, the comment. Okay. If I need to slow down, please just anybody tell me. Add our adhesive in that little tiny spot. This is why you want to go bigger. You don't have to go. Oh, you do. See, I see them all. Sorry. Yeah, I see all of them. My main thing is Michelle is working really hard in the warehouse still. And so I have to just watch if she messaged me. So using glue, we just want to make sure that's down and that's dry. We're going to cut this some more. I'm going to set it aside first. And we're going to do the second one. For this album, I'm using the collection kit, the G45 Farmhouse collection kit. Okay, let's start at the top. And I am using, I am using the 8x8 paper pad. I'm using the Patterns and Solids. I'm actually using everything. Ephemera, collection kit, all of it. So you'll just order the die cuts, the chipboard, your stickers will come with your collection kit. Now, I know, and you may think that's a lot, but you're going to get more than just this project with it. I promise. And if you're looking for the cutting guide, you're going to find it at Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook. Now, the thing is, I don't do written guides. Sometimes I do when I'm able. I give you the measurements as we go, just like this. So that's why we sell these cute little notebooks at Country Craft Creations, so that you can put them right in your book. But I will post the cutting guide weekly, because now that our retreat has been moved. Okay, we're going to do now that our retreat from Vegas, which was going to start Wednesday, moved to August 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I'm so excited. Then I will do this. We'll do it this week, the cover. Next week, we're going to do the pages inside. And then we will finish up the week of April 3rd. And I am hoping by then life is back to normal. Yes. All of my logos are hand drawn, and I've shown them on Scrapbookers. That is Wilbur, and he is filling out his feminine side. He's being very gentle with the animals. Yes. So I go to the artist. I draw what I want. She fine tunes it. I show it how it's done. Every one of ours, the barn, the truck, are totally ours, copyrighted. I mean, they're my design. So, and the artist, because then she takes it and turns it into the finished project, and she just puts so much life into them. I love it. Okay, let's cut from the top. Oh, I've been watching the photos, Susan, of Vegas. So it is what it is, and we're just going to craft and make the best of it. You know what? I never really leave because I'm here in the studio and I'm here in the warehouse right on our property. And so I don't have to really leave. And then I'm proud to have Michelle, who works for us. Whoops. Working in the warehouse. So she's pretty much by herself. And she's asking for something. Let me see if I have it. She needs score tape sheets for an order anyway. And she is able to still work. Thank you, everyone. Because she is also, with her children, has been paying for their missions. So I'm glad that I'm able to keep her working. Yes, I'm using gray. This is gray. And this is where I use my score tape just about 1/8 of an inch above the score line near the chipboard, and then here in the center. Well, I wasn't talking. I know that's rare, Connie. Maybe that was why. I have something there. Then just clean up your score tape. Yeah, you might have to refresh your screens. Or I know it's rare that I don't talk. Let's just remove that score tape. Now, this is the way I usually do it. And then I add just some adhesive in the center. Make sure that glue's squishing up on your chipboard. This gray does. It's a great background color. And the paper is a little dark, but I didn't want to go ivory on this one. So this is the gray. And I love the way it looks with this. But that's, you can use just about, you could use craft. Craft would look very nice with this. Ivory linen. You could also use, you could get away with burgundy as long as you stayed away from the rust in the collection. I'm just taking those guys out. See, we want to bend that back there. Just make sure they're wings. They're supposed to move really easy. So let's start with this one. And we're just going to use our chipboard as our stopper and put your scissors at an angle. Just leave that on. You don't want to take that off or you're going to have a mess there. I wouldn't take that off. That's why we glued it down. Let's do the same here. What that looks like, and then to the bottoms. Okay, I want to show you something. So these two are going to hold our front and back cover together when we do this. So just imagine these guys, we need the wings to hook here. We need the wings to hook here. This 3-inch piece, this is my 3-inch piece. It doesn't need wings. You're going to treat this as if it was a front or back cover. And that's the best way to kind of keep it straight. Because when you have a smaller piece, you're thinking, oh, wings, I need wings. No, we're going to totally wrap this just like we do our front and back chipboard. Because it's going to attach to the right-hand side, this one. So we're going to just wrap this all 4 sides. We don't need our wings on here. Awesome. I do too, Connie. I love it too because it just doesn't hurt anymore. Okay, now on this one, let's cut our squares out. I do just go to my chipboard. You're not going to have any holes. I'm just going to cut those squares right out. I use washi tape sometimes, Judy, but you know what? I glue it. Use washi how I do use washi tape if I'm trying to create a project. I will use my washi tape to hold it all together, and then, but I throw it away, of course, rip it off, throw it away. But basically, no. So I'm pushing that up to the chipboard. You can kind of see it wasn't there. And I could tell because my squares weren't there. So I'm going to fold the short end. And I'm going to angle those edges just from the chipboard. Don't go any further than your chipboard will allow your scissors to go. Now the same thing here. We're doing better today since the earthquake. Yes. Yesterday was a little stressful when I got up because, you know, here in Utah, we had that 5.8 earthquake. And for us, that's been kind of unusual. We know we have little ones. I mean, we've just haven't had them. And I just about lost it because it was such a shock that it happened, of course, for us out here. No warning, just happened. Then yesterday, I felt like I had PTSD, Pamela. I was walking around waiting for it to happen, and one did. It was 3 point something. And so still a little on edge yesterday. I'm feeling better today. And I could tell the animals were a little weird yesterday morning. Nothing serious, but seems like things have calmed down. We haven't been having too many tremors. Jennifer on our design team actually lives out at that fault line. So she got hit a little harder. She's out there by the Magna and the Kennecott copper mine. One of our designers. So they felt it pretty good. We did too out here. We're not far. We're only about 20 miles from where it originated, because I'm down by the Great Salt Lake. In fact, I'm by Antelope Island, and I kind of run parallel, north and south. So it just kind of came this way, and it was quite an interesting day. When things started flying off the wall, Wilbur didn't move. He just stayed on my lap. It was 7:09 in the morning. I thought somebody broke in the front door because all my stuff was flying off the shelves. Okay, art glitter glue. I do my 2 long sides first, and then I like to do my short sides. And I like to get it right up next to that chipboard. So, here in Utah, we just had to have that earthquake on top of everything else. Make sure you're pushing it close up to that chipboard. No, and for those of you, who live in I'm in earthquake territory, but we just don't have, well, yes, we do have them. It's just we don't usually feel them like this. And it was, it was kind of rude. Kind of ruined my day because the day started out wonderful. And it was scary because, I was home by myself. Everybody was at work. So my boys are so cute. They started calling me from their works. Of course, my husband couldn't because they took them out of the hangars out at the Air Force Base. And I was just like, I don't want to die by myself. But I had Wilbur and the dog. It was pretty interesting. Okay, and one more. When you're working, by yourself, these don't take long. Actually, I can get this whipped together in 30 minutes. Oh, thank you. Well, Kathy, actually, I come to you because I feel like this is such a happy day to spend with you guys. So thank you for saying that. But I kind of feel the opposite. I feel like it's you guys that definitely give me the happiness when I'm here crafting. Yeah, it's been since they said we had one here in 1992, but I don't remember it. I lived here. I'm from Utah. I remember one as a teenager, and that's it. And this one, though, my house kept going back and forth and back and forth. I was like, this can't be real. Now I'm waiting for the house to settle and see what new cracks and things we find. Okay, we're going to do these the same way as our smaller. Let's just cut out those squares. You know what, Pamela? Actually, I didn't. I just ended up crawling into bed. I was so mentally exhausted. I don't even know if I ate. And then that was that. Hi, Michelle. No.
Hello.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a few more in the top drawer. Do you need more than 5?
No.
Oh, okay. And more.
And the others coming next week.
Well, maybe today or tomorrow. Monday, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
You'll be fine? Okay. Thank you. Judy, am I using ribbon? Not on the cover. I am using some twine. We have our bee ribbon. I haven't decided. No, let's not put on Hallmark. Kathy, I just go straight, you know what? I'm just going up the middle. And then, because we're going to cut them at an angle. So just straight up the middle. And then we're going to add our score tape, and you know what? I didn't cut the corners yet. I usually don't put the tape on when I'm doing shows because I like you to see. But at home, that's what I do. So fold it over and just angle it. If you use your scissors as your stopper, watch. Your scissors can't go any further than the chipboard. Yeah, Joyce, yes, get your chipboards, your die cuts, your ephemera cards. I'm using one collection kit, and you'll probably have some left over. I'm using your pattern and solids. You will have some left over. And I'm using the 8x8 paper pad. So basically, you're going to get one of everything. Do not order the stickers because they'll come in your collection kit. So you don't need an extra, unless you want an extra set of stickers, because they're in there. But I will be using everything. Sure. We're going to use the 12x12 collection kit. Hey Sally, if you're out there, would you type that up for me? 12x12 collection kit, 8x8 paper pad, ephemera pack, the die cut pack that comes, and your chipboards, and your patterns and solids. And then you will be good also to make other fun stuff. Oh, Anchorage. Yes, Anchorage has earthquakes. My husband's been there when he was active duty Air Force at the base when they had some. I knew Sally was on it. Hi, Trisha. Oh, we're doing good. Nerves are coming back down to normal. Yesterday was a quiet day. I told all the grandkids stay home because they want to be here. And I'm sorry, I'm not social distancing my grandkids. They wanted to be here, but I told their parents, no. I need a day of quiet. So I worked on my farmhouse project. And just so you guys know, we'll have art glitter glue next week. And tips, everything. Just make sure that's up against that chipboard. I did, Pamela. So it was a good day. Today's a good day too, and I just really feel that it's just going to now get better every single day. For one thing, my daughter works. She works in the hospital. She works in the lab. In fact, she's one of those that runs all the big machines and does for the lab testing. And she said the flu tests are all coming back negative. So woohoo, that's positive news. I was happy to hear that. Because when you see our flu start to die out, the theory is so do some of these other winter nasty bugs. So we're just all praying that it's super good sign. And that we can just now craft our hearts out. Okay. I know when you have this many pieces, it gets monotonous, but now with this design, you can definitely see the different ways you can wrap chipboard and now not have the cracking or tearing of your paper. And you can also do the do-si-do albums that I've done those tutorials in the past. So see, I'm going straight up the center and there's no worry about that cardstock cracking. Well, it depends on your cardstock. I do too. And my mom's 87, but you know what? I keep saying, Mom, stay home. You do not need to go to the grocery store. And she says to me, I'm 87. If I want to go to the grocery store, I'll go. So I'm like, okay, Mom, go to the grocery store. Oh, that Happy Day paper is so pretty from Cartabella. And Sandy on our design team is working on a project with that. Yes, it does, Connie. It's so much easier to handle when these are separate pieces. Now, see how that sticks out? That's how you're going to know you need to really trim that up. We're almost there. And they have special hours? Well, they should, yes. No, not my mother. I think she'll be home, though. She finished radiation. She had to have it on where she had mastectomy. And it's still, you're not going to keep her home. But I think she's done. So I'm thinking she's feeling a little tired. And I'm hoping she'll just stay home and watch her game shows today. But she's a very social person. And what do you do when they're 87? They're old enough to make their own decisions. They grow up so fast. My brother lives with her, so he keeps her under control. All right, we are there almost. This is our last piece. The video will stay recorded. And, oh, hi, Mary Jane. The video will stay recorded so you can access it on all these groups. You can access it here on YouTube, Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, our store page. And then, like I said, this is part 1. We're going to do the cover today, part 2. Next Friday at 11, we'll be doing the inside of our book and our pages. And you'll have 2 different choices. But I will have it completed this weekend so that you can decide how you want to do it. I have 2 albums, so I'm going to show you both ways. You know, that's okay. That's the nice thing about crafting like this, the interruptions. You saw, yeah, Michelle had to come in to get supplies, so into the studio here. Interruptions are okay. It's just, I'm kind of worried why Wilbur's so quiet. Granddaughter must still be upstairs with him. I don't know. We're done with that part. Now I'm going to move my scoreboard. You do need room. I know you're expecting this big long piece of paper, and it's so nice. So we have our 2 covers. I'm going to leave them this way. That's going to be that fold over. And these are our wings. So let's take another look. This is that 3-inch fold over. Spine. 6.5 by 8.5. The 2.5-inch spine. 6.5 by 8.5. So see, we need to connect these 2. We need to connect these 2 to this. This is a nice tight clip. Like I said, if you have the Craftology box from March, you'll have it. We're going to prepare these 2 pieces. We're going to turn them over. I know this sounds weird. If you haven't made it this way, I promise it's right. I'm not making a mistake. Oh, good that you're still open, because I know mommies have to work. I was a daycare director, and I was the nurse for the daycares. So that's important to stay open for the parents. Score tape. Again, about 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch or a little more. Doesn't matter exactly how much. And then I put one over here. I found the combination of score tape and the glue just makes for a nice, clean, a much cleaner edge. And we're going to do all 4 sides exactly like this. And you do want it on your complete finished side. Oops. The beauty of this too, so if you have an interruption, you can stop and just set your cover aside. You don't have all that paper out, so it makes it really nice. No, we don't. They were for the Craftology box. I think you may have gotten white or black. You can paint them, but gold would look great with this collection, Froggy. Hi, Tanya. Now, this is the 1.5 inch. You could even put another one down the center of your tape if you want. And I think I'm going to. So if you did the 1.5, well, I have that trigger finger and it goes over to this finger. So this really does help. I'm going to go ahead. If you did the 1.5 inch on each side, I'm going to add that 3rd piece. And I'm still using art glitter glue sparingly with it because it's going to add to the strength. And I will see if I have any more black ones Pamela, and I'll pop them in one of your orders. I know I've got a lot of white. I'm not sure about the black. I'm just going to trim it up because you don't want anything hanging over the edge. Even if you have to cut a little bit into the cardstock, you're not going to damage it. No, Judy, Michelle is getting everything shipped out today. She's out there working super hard. She does all the time. She's great. Let's start with the 6.5 by 8.5 and one of our 2.5-inch spine pieces. Important thing is, remember, this one's wider. Keep it away. Well, you don't have wings. So now our cover, which always picks up everything, it's going to sit down right on top. And yes, it will be right, almost butted right up next to it, but don't go over the top of it, of course. Just go to that edge. Oh yeah, I hear Wilbur. And if you did use score tape, now you don't have to, but I found it keeps, what this does, it keeps the glue from oozing onto your cover. And if it oozes onto your cover, it is clear, but you know what? You still see it, and I don't like it. That's why I did this. So keep the glue away from that edge, and it won't smush up onto your cover. Okay, cover. Matching to top and bottom. And apply some pressure, and then I flip it over. Now extended over, and it's so much smoother and nicer. Just gives a nicer finish. Let's go ahead and burnish that down. Nice and clean. Okay. Yeah, you're going to hear it. That's where I was telling you. Oh, yeah, it is better to hear Wilbur. Oh, goodness. It is better to hear Wilbur, yes. Okay. Second piece. I know, Pamela. She's picking up her new beagle in May, and I cannot wait to meet my new niece. And here comes Wilbur. Uh-oh, he's got something. Pamela is getting a new baby beagle. Oh, he can't have candy. Yes. Yeah, that does include you, Joyce. Okay. Okay. Now, do not be afraid to fold this over. Yes, I do remember when Wilbur ate my new glasses. I forgot about that. Yes, and they were brand new. Okay, so you could stop here. And I'm telling you, you can stop here and make this album, and you'll be just fine. But we're going to move on because we want to have a flip over. This piece now is going to connect right here. Oh. Excuse me. No. Haley. No. Hello, Bonnie. So right down the center. I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't matter what side you put it on at this point. If you accidentally put it on the other side, you're fine. You're going to turn it upside down. Okay, line that up. Upstairs. Wilbur, go. He's picking on the other dogs. Pamela, you do. I did not realize till we got Wilbur when he was a baby how much we had to puppy-proof the house. Okay. So now can you, let's go ahead and just gently fold that over and just burnish it. Now you can kind of see this is taking shape. So a lot of things can happen with this design. This can now also become a box. Isn't this great? This design is so versatile for so many things. I just love it. But we want our fold over there. This is that piece that's going to fold over the front. And you didn't have to sit here and fight with a big, long piece of cardstock. Again, right up next to that edge. Now, see how that extended past this 1 inch here? This wing gives us that extra smoothness. It just works better. So I will make sure to change that on all of my measurements when I post it for you guys. And I didn't, the finished album, I did not do the inside because I wanted to leave it so you could see, but we are going to now do the inside here. When you fold this together, stress-free lay flat cover. It just makes it so much easier. But at this point, you're like, oh, it's really floppy and flimsy. It is. So we need to fix that. Along here and along here, we're going to add our cardstock. There is no one set measurement. What I do for this, because it depends on these wings, we call it. I like to measure a 1/2 inch between. So now I'm going to come a 1/2 inch into the book so that we don't have everything land in one spot and be bulky. So you can even go an inch. So I'm going to cut 7 inches, and this is 8.5. So I want a 7 inch by 8 3/8. Over here, you want to come into here and kind of cover that up. So 6.5 by 8 3/8. So let's get those cut. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can use your scraps. Like that one's just about right. I'm just going to move it over. So I'll just cut this at 8 3/8. There's no need to, use anything but your scraps. So even if you have another scrap that's there, maybe it comes on the inside here, you'd be fine if you don't want to extend it out. I do want to extend it out. And then 8 3/8. Not only that, it will strengthen your cover. And again, hi, Ann. Yes, everything is great. And again, if you had to put your album aside, you're not, it just makes it so you can come back and work on it so much easier. And I am using my score tape sheets. You could use your, just your roll, whatever you like to use. I didn't mean to throw my cover away. because I need to save that piece. When you're using a blade, then also use your hand to hold your paper tight and push it against your blade as you're working. And if you cut into your paper like I just did accidentally, it's not going to matter because you're going to be covering it with pattern paper. But on the top and the bottom is where you want to be super careful. Okay, so that one's all ready. Okay, just like that. That's done. This will cut in your cutter too if you need to cut in your any cutters. You can cut with this or cut this with any cutter. Yeah, that's the right ones. Just leaving that up where you want it to go, and down it goes. We'll come back and burnish that some more better. See, now my album is pretty set. It's not going to go anywhere. The blade, you know what? This came with my new maker, my Cricut maker. Be very careful if you. It came with the Cricut maker. I still love this cheap one that at Husky I pick up at Lowe's. Very inexpensive, but I'm really liking this one. The only thing is the blades, they're quite different. They're really cool, but it's really nice because it's really fat. It's very easy to handle, but it is a Cricut. So you can pick them up at Joann's and Hobby Lobby or, no, it does. There's something here too. Oh, you can lock it, or I should read more about it, right? But I really like it. Just making sure nothing's sticking out, and we're not. Down this one we'll go. Oh, is that one to change the blade? Okay, Jennifer's art. So you can change. This is how you loosen to change your blade. Oh, I see now. Unlock and lock. Thank you. Any Cricut questions? Jennifer is at our service. All right, let's just do the burnishing here. Still go around the edges. I do because I want to make sure everything's flat. Okay, I'm going to use my blade, and not my blade, my bone folder that's blunt, just the Fiskars. Don't force it. It will crack. I don't care what paper, if you are forcing it. Make sure that's down. Now you can bend it over because you want it to be you want it to be a working hinge. Bonnie, are you back home or are you watching while you're traveling? Okay. Now you're going to see your album is much stiffer. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sandy. Again, for the closure. So it's all nice and square and neat. And you could even use a cute clothespin with the Farmhouse and decorate it. But I used the clip. And I will have another one, but we don't want it right now because we're going to mount our album cover. So when you lift it up, then you should see that you've got this perfect square. Sometimes now when I made the other one, the reason I had to cut it apart where I showed you on the original cover, I put a 3-inch in here and I was like, oops. And so what I did is I sliced it, pulled it off and put a new one on. It was so easy. So we're not going to do anything with the inside till next week, but we want to do the outside cover. I already cut the matting pieces, so I'll show you what I used from the collection sheet. So this is your patterns and solids. Even that side was pretty. And I'm going to use the rust on mine. This one, and that was pretty cute too. And it is usable if you don't put anything else on like this. Oh, and I might use this, guys, and put this on. Sometimes, oh, even when you cut your cut apart, sometimes it cuts. Wow, I'm very happy with that. I like that look. So we might do a little changing. Oh, bye, Renee. Thanks for joining us. So it closes this way, and I cut my rust paper 8 3/8 by, it's 8 3/8 long, 6 3/8 wide. Then my top piece is 6 by 8. Now, in the original album, I used this side. But I'm using this side. I have to. This is so great. It just happened to turn out good. But I'll still show you how I did the matting. And then this will close. Again, from your patterns and solids, 8 3/8 long, 2 7/8 of an inch wide. But I have to see how this will look. Kind of busy, but I like it. This one is 2.5 by 8 3/8. Now the original, see, I just used the back side and then put that on. And this was a strip from the patterns and solids. My camera hates this. In 1 inch, it's 1 inch by 8 3/8. I did it to match the matting here. So I like it too. And Sandy, if you said you like it, then that's good. I'm going to go by Sandy's recommendations. I love it. I have to use it. It's called, I love this paper too. This paper is called General Store. Your general store is the black and plaid. And isn't it just adorable? Okay, we're going to go with it. And then we're going to do the plaid for the rest. And I'm going to go ahead and ink. I use black for my inking. And I'm going to, the patterns and solids are absolutely the best. Now, Sally made a barn. And I was going to do the same. But then with this being the matting, you won't see it. She ran it through her embossing folder that has a wood grain. And I have a wood grain embossing folder. And you could really turn that into what looks like a piece of barnwood. So I think I will be using my embossing folder that looks like barnwood. or any texture is going to work great. I think I'll be using it in the album a little bit. Isn't that cute? Oh, you know, the general store was where all the entrepreneurships kind of started. You remember, you know, our little general stores, they were run by the storekeepers and right here in the USA. And I'm really excited to see a lot of that come back. Okay, let's go ahead. And I hope you got my, guys don't mind, I changed this on you. This will give you two options. And you may even not like this. Maybe you want a totally different cover, and that is okay too. And I'm doing the double matting first before we put it on our book. So again, the rust behind from the Patterns and Solids is 2 7/8 by 8 3/8. My top piece is 2.5 by 8. And I do see that it looks a little off there. So this may be a great place. Eventually, I might put some lace here. 8 3/8 long by 6 3/8 wide. And 6 by 8 is my top piece. There we go. Oh, so cute. I don't know. I picked a couple of different cut aparts. Of course, we already had that saying, so I may not be using that one. Okay, let's grab our album cover. Now, the main thing to remember is when you're working on this, make sure you're putting it the right orientation. Oh, thank you, Anne. I hope I am. I know I make mistakes. I hope you guys, I hope you do learn. That's the important thing. I hope I'm teaching you something that is very helpful for you so that you can create. I just want you guys to create because it does so much. Creating is definitely good for the soul. It's one of the few things. But it's a place, I don't know about you, I get lost in my paper. And I get so lost in this one. From the farmhouses in New Hampshire and Missouri. It's just, I love it. And when I work on it, I kind of picture myself there. So, see, crafting is a great place to just turn your mind off to what's going on. The negativity, because there's so much positivity that we can get through crafting. Okay, make sure our ends are down. Now, the worst thing that could happen if I'd put that on upside down, it would just mean my album, say it was upside down, I would have my closure to the left. So that's also the beautiful thing about this. But I want it on that side. And now we'll put our second piece on. And then we're going to, you're going to die when you find out how easy the piecing is going to be. And you can do it with any of your albums. The hardest part is just figuring out the sizing. And I've already done that for you. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to add some lace. This is definitely going to be dressed up. Now, Like I said, I didn't use magnets. I didn't want to with this one, but I did cut a piece of the paper that's 4 1/8 by 6 1/8 because I did want to mat it. If you're using the 4 by 6 cut aparts, my backing is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So now I have to see. I'm thinking you can do so much. I'm telling you, it doesn't really matter. We have our fresh eggs like I used before. If you want to add more color, maybe you want to keep it more subdued and in the black and ivories like the paper is. And if you're going to use a lace for here, I think it's going to have to be tea. I'm going to have to tea dye it. I'm going to grab a lace. And so you want to leave room for old Betsy there. So I think on this one, or like I said, that one probably won't. I don't know, guys. Come on, tell me. Do we want the pig pile or Betsy the cow? I know we're going to name her Sally. Do we want Sally the cow or the pig pile? You love the cow? So we have a love the cow. Okay, this is fun. Yeah, I think I do too. It kind of keeps that theme there, right? So now, oh, burlap. Thank you. Connie said burlap. Connie, you're right. And I have some burlap. I'm going to rip the burlap. I'll show you that next week. And let's get started with these sides. Okay, see how we can work on it flat? We're going to create these, and this is where I use the 8 by 8 paper. So what I did with my 8 by 8, I'm going to choose 3 of the 8 by 8s because I'm going to use front and back. Now, one thing to remember, it's going to be a little weird, and you'll see your squares when you get there. But I'll show you how to do it. But the front and backs are what's kind of important. You want something that, because we're going to be cutting it at a diagonal, make sure it is something that will work. And of course, I'm not using that one. This is going to be cards. But I did pick out 3. Since I didn't use the plaid, I think we'll go with the plaid there. And then I did want to add some color. That's a good one. So you want to bring those colors in. I did use that on the original over here, but I really loved this one. So those are the 3 that I'm going to choose. You won't use them all, but your spine pieces are 2.5 by 8.5. So you're going to want to cut some cardstock. You should have some scraps. And I'm going to cut it 2 3/8. I'm going to double check because we need this as a base. You always build your quilt on a base and then you add it to the cover for those of you that know that quilt. Oh no, I did mine at 2.5. So we're going to cut it at 2.5. And you'll see why in a second. Because we're going to make sure. 2.5 by 8 3/8. That's a good fit. It is the same size. So you want 2 of those. 2 1/2. It's the same as the chipboard we cut. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay. Now, what I did is I started by cutting 2 1/4 inch strips. And I cut 2 from each paper. We're going to cut 2 squares. I only cut 1 strip from each paper. So also, yeah, we're not going to be using that other side on here. I'm just going to use the check. So 2 1/4. And cut it however your pattern is going. This is good. You're going to be amazed at how fast this goes. 2 1/4. We will eventually use another piece, and when we get there, I'll show you that we're going to use to fill in our bottom. I'm not done. Oops. Let me cut that topper. Now we need to cut, again, staying, there's no other way but with your pattern. From each strip, I'm going to cut 2. 2 1/4. So they're 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. There's my second, and from our third strip. Okay, it looks like the cow has won. And I'm going to name her Sally. I'm going to make a little thing here that says Sally. I love you, Sally. No, we still need this. What am I doing? Okay, now we're going to take our 2 1/2, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And we're going to cut them diagonally in your cutter. So you need 1 for each side. And I didn't do them identical. I did both spines different. Because this was like grandma's quilt, you know? Yes, she is going to have a bell on her. So, because we have 2 spines, so I'm making 2 piles. Now, when you cut these, the thing to look at is when you cut it, so this half, I want the words up so I can use them. If that makes sense. So see, well, I'll put it down like this, and I'll probably put this way. And see my little chicken? So kind of cover it with your hand. That will kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at. So little Henrietta can be there, and then that can be at the top. So I have that image. And now we're going to ink every one of them. Oh, trust me, she'll be the most spoiled cow out back. So you could even use that. But I'll probably use this as a filler. We'll see how things look. So there's that pile. Oh, we could even put those guys at the top. Hey, Jennifer, I'm hunting you for lunch too. I'm starving. We will be done. I planned on 2 hours, and see your whole cover in 2 hours. You can have it made, decorated, and ready for next week. There we go. We're going to now take our bases because it's better to build it with your base. So just decide basically what you want. What I did, you're going to also do a border, you know, how we keep 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So I just laid down basically the key pieces that I wanted showing. And where I wanted color. And if you decide you don't have enough color, you can cut another one. I'm just doing the same thing with this piece. So it's no different really than laying out a quilt. But then that kind of throws off the eye. Just like putting a puzzle together. Oh, this is the problem, playing with it on camera. What to do, what to do. Once you get what you're liking or what you want, I just moved it aside. We'll start from the top. I didn't do any markings. Well, that chicken, he's over here. So he's going to go on my other spine. But I do have this chicken. Oh, I could put these guys down here if I want 2 chickens. Oh, but see, there we go. He can be sitting that way. Definitely add color up here. Oh. Can add some plaid with him. See, so much you can do. He has to stay there because I have another one. If I want to add this here. I like that. I'm going to go with this. Oh, Bonnie, move the top one to the middle. Move the top one to the middle. This guy or this one? This is the way it's going to be. Hello, Donis. Don't use a lot of glue. You don't want it smushing. Now, when you're putting this on your paper, just remember you need just a little at the top and a little at the sides. I use my scoreboard markings. If you're used to using those, they're really, really helpful. But don't get all, oh my God, I put it in the wrong spot because it's going to be just fine. This is a quilt. This is a handmade. You want this to look handcrafted. But like I said, go light on the glue because you don't want it smushing out and you don't want to mess. Now you're going to leave a space. So I have about as much space in the center as I do on my sides. And then the glue gives you that few minutes to straighten it up so that now you have a nice square. I got things mixed up here. Okay. Oh, this isn't inked. Wilbur loves toilet paper. Do you know what? He doesn't get into the pattern paper. Nope, he doesn't. He likes the soft, cushy toilet paper. Again, just line up, leave your spacing from that corner to that corner, approximately 1/8 of an inch. My diaper wipes are sticking to the glue on my fingers. Wilbur loves packing paper, especially the packing paper that comes from G45. Don't ask me why. No, that doesn't go there. He loves them. Now, I've gotten a little close. I've gotten mine probably a little closer than I wanted it. Just means I'm going to have a thicker piece at the bottom, and that's a-okay. Just push it out to the side there. Now I have to go up a little closer. So what it means is I just want to make sure my placement on the next piece we do here is about the same, so they sort of match. They're not going to match perfect. And Wilbur loves the dish brushes that we wash the dishes with. They're on the handle. So we have to keep those away from the counter. And washcloths. He loves washcloths. Okay. Now, the bottom, what I did is I filled in with a piece because I tried forever and ever. You could try. The problem is to get this longer. I like perfect squares. If you don't care if it's a perfect square, you could probably go 3 and get this in, but I wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want it to be, super difficult. But our piece is going to be 1 1/4. And what I do is I now measure my last one, which is 2 3/8. So what we're going to do is have a 2 3/8 piece at the bottom. And that's, you can pick whatever you want. I have this, some scraps from the first one. On the other one, I used the Patterns and Solids, and it had, see, this is another good one if you just want words down here at the bottom and keep it black and white. And I think I'll do that. So again, it needs to be just a 1 1/4 inch strip. Oh, you mean Scrapbookers is gone? So 1 1/4. I still see it. See, that just fills that in nicely. And 2 3/8. So that's basically what the other side's going to be also. To fill in the bottom. And you have plenty here. I think I'll just a little bit longer than 2 3/8. Yeah, because I want it to match from this corner to that corner. So I did go a little more than 2 3/8. That's a cool side too. It's hard to see on the camera, but the back side, it's all like cracked Italian plaster. Farmhouse plaster. Whoops, and don't put your words upside down. Okay, there's one spine. Let's grab our second spine piece. It really does go fast after this. And I did not, like I said, I did not do mine the same. I mean, they're kind of the same, but they weren't, I didn't do them the same. So I don't think I want to do it the same this time either. I mean, there'll be some similarities, of course, like the flowers here. Mr. Chicken here. Maybe with some chicken wire. How about that one? Okay. And then we'll have this piece down at the bottom. We're good to go. Again, my two sides weren't perfectly matched because they're away from each other. You won't really see them. Whoa. Wow, this one's a little bit, seems longer. That's better. Well, that's not going on the way I want it at all. There we go. But it's close. Oh, whoops. Well, let me put this down here. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't watching what I was doing. Oops. What was I looking at, guys? Okay, we'll change the design here a little bit. No, I can't. That's the back of that yucky one. Well, I'm definitely not paying attention here, am I? I totally put them in the wrong spot. Okay, we'll fix that in a moment. I don't know what I was doing. Hi, Carol. How are you? So, a little darker than I wanted. But I don't want to cut into any more of So we'll go with it. I don't have, oh, there it is. Now for the bottom, should be the same. If it's not, it's not. Mine came up a little different, so I'll just trim it. And again, it's going to be different because you're doing hand work. So yeah, it's over 2 and mine's a little over 2 3/8. It is relaxing. I love it. Little over 2 3/8, but it looks like I need to take 1/8 of an inch off mine for this one because my quilting was a little different. And that happens, but these are on opposite ends. So yeah, this one I took 1/8 off. This is how this happened yesterday, Sherry, because I was so stressed, everything closed down on Monday. Things were closing on Tuesday. We had an earthquake in Utah on Wednesday. And yesterday on Thursday, I thought I'm just going to go downstairs and play with my pretty paper and maybe do some pieceworking because my nerves were shot. That's all I can say. But this made me feel so much better. Okay, so find your cover here. Open it up. Now this will fit right in. Then I use the Graphic 45 enamel dots, and that's what I put on the edges. But you could use buttons or do anything you want to decorate this up. Or any enamel dots. Now you're going to have the 1/8 at the top and about 1/8 at the bottom, but it will fit side to side. Plastic scrapers are the best. They fit down in those creases. And our next one, and then we'll do our back cover, and we're done for today. This needs a clothesline. We need a clothesline hanging out on this. This would be so pretty. Diane, they are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And there you can cut, you can cut as many different ones as you like. Now gold, any color, gold, silver will go really well with this. And I use the black enamel dots. I originally started out because I had cut buttons, not cut buttons. I originally started out with these buttons and I put the twine and I was going to use them here. So buttons, or you can leave it. You don't have to put anything here if you don't want to. That's what it, I just put them on the edge to kind of bring up some texture. But like I said, you definitely don't have to. Oh, there's a bubble. And I just kind of picked 3 spots. I used the big ones. And art glitter glue will make it more permanent. And then I did kind of the opposite. Yeah, but you had to clean up. You had kind of a mess down there, Carol. Okay. Woo. So when your album is closed, look how pretty that is. Okay, let's do the back. And that's going to look gorgeous sitting on your shelf. For the back, we're going to cut another mat. So I cut this mat piece for the back from the gray at 6 3/8 by 8 3/8. So 6 3/8. I think that seems short. By 8 3/8. Let me cut that down. And then just check the fit. You want it to fit nice and neat inside of there. And then I took the leftover, our papers. Remember those 3 we started with? And they're 8 inches. I'm just going to cut. Let's see, what do you need? Yeah, I cut 3 strips from each one. You might need 1 or 2 more. You can also use your 12 by 12. You can use any of them. It can be the 12 inches long. I just am keeping this with the same colors that I did the spine with. And then the piece we cut for the bottom, I might use a strip from there if I need to fill in. And I might use another one of these if I need more color. We'll see. And we're going to do the same thing. Here's the thing. You really do want to ink these. So we're going to start. And I just quickly inked. I didn't ink the bottom. You're not going to see the bottom. Bye, Connie. Thanks for stopping by. I didn't worry about the top because we'll be cutting this down anyway here soon. Again, this is what takes the longest, is inking your edges. Your strips can be wider also. But my whole thing was, when you're on a farm and you're looking out and you see the sun rise, that's the look I was going for, was those sunbeams. So what you want to do is you want to pick out which one you want in the center. Let's get on the mat here. So your center, is it about, well, if we're over here, it's going to be about 3. But I'm just going to find the center, and I'm letting about a 1/2 inch hang over. Okay. And it's not going to go back the same way. So don't even think it's going to. What you're going to do is you're just going to start by putting down your strips using your thumb at the bottom. And we're just going to start laying them over the paper. And like I said, if you decide you don't have enough colors, you can cut a couple of others. Bye, Candace. Thanks for stopping in. But we want to cover all of this. So you'll probably need more strips, but you'll be able to also use some what's left over, and we're going to be able to, fan them out, and then we'll be able to fill that in. And then we're going to do the same thing heading off to the left. So we definitely will need to cut some more. Whoops. Like I said, if you want to get into some other colors, that's going to be a good one for your patterns and solids, or like this one. I didn't even worry about cutting the length. You just don't want any of the cardstock showing. And it will change. Like I said, it's going to change as we actually lay this down. It's not going to come out the same. It just never does. That's all I can tell you. So don't be surprised. But I don't know why some patterns freak out this camera. But it's going to look really cool once you get it in. Or get it done. Stop. I know, the pixels. Down here, I'm not too worried. It's going to determine what you're going to cut to go across the bottom. That we're going to call our horizon. So that's going to be kind of what we're looking at. Ooh, crazy camera. And I'm just going to start in the center, and I'm just going to start putting them down. Yes, they're 1 inch wide. Again, finding the center somewhat. My first one's straight, and then I'm just going to work out. Yep, they're about 1 inch wide. The ones I didn't ink, I'll ink those when we get to them. And the main thing is we're just now kind of covering the edge of that one. Nothing super in particular. You do want to let it hang over your paper so we can cut it. Oh, I know. You know what? I was using vitamin C cream on it, and it healed really well. Again, see, I'm pushing it over to make sure that edge, and then down, and it comes together better when you can see once you start putting your adhesive on. Okay, now this guy, I'm not going to worry about cutting him right this moment. No need to, unless we need to use some extra pieces. But mark it so that I know where it doesn't need glue, because I don't want glue all over my mat. Okay. Now it's going to start, it'll start hanging over and you want it to. So let's keep going. And then just start turning it in. Yeah, that one's inked. Hi, Lori Joe. How are you? Okay, cover that corner. Whoops. And anywhere you see that you need to add adhesive, super simple to get it in there. Now I need to cover there. Like I said, this I'm not worried about covering. We're going to have a piece that goes across it. So, well, it'll depend on what you want it to look like. You'll see in a second. So it's as far up as I need to go. Those are down. And this is why we want to build it on a base. Lori Joe, when I just looked up, I thought you said I'm drinking, okay? It says, I thought it said I'm drinking, okay? And I was going to be like, okay, I'm drinking. I looked twice. I don't like that there. We need some chicken wire there. We're doing good. We're almost done with our album cover. We're just finishing the back piece. And we're done for the week. Okay, again, just put it sideways and then butt it up to the edge or overlap. I am overlapping in some areas. You know, I don't like that white there. So we'll go with this color again. This time I am going to cut it off. You might be late, but you're here, and that's important. Oh, you might be later. Oh, gotcha. See, I'm overlapping because I don't want the gray paper to show. My next one. Again, making sure it's over the top a little bit so we can trim it. Not worried about the bottom. So this can be fun and messy. We all do need a good laugh. And it looks like I'm going to end with the floral. So again, just check your sides. If one is a lot higher, then you just need to take another one and stick it there. You certainly can. And don't worry that it's overlapping your whole page. And yeah, you're going to have to clean your mat. Sorry. Because that's what happens. So turn it over. It's going to look really, really messy. Now you have a choice. You can put it in your cutters. You can definitely cut it with your scissors. Kind of like giving a haircut here. I just put it in my cutting board. No. See how pretty that comes out? Then if there's anything, yeah, see, hanging over that your cutter didn't get, just trim it. And you can go back now and see what pieces need adhesive. Because you don't want them to be loose. Well, maybe that is down. Nope, it's not down. For the bottom, whoops, again, making sure. For the bottom, I used the 8 by 8, and I used this one. And I loved already how it was. So on the other album, I used this bottom half. What I did is I just put it here to see where things were. And as you can see, I've got a little spot missing there. So I think I'm going to go from the top this time. And I'm sorry about my camera freaking out. I don't get this. I got a new camera because of it. So I'm turning it upside down to see. And if I go to that edge of that border, right underneath, this is my happy place. That's going to cover it. Let me double check that. I think I need to go maybe a little further. Let me see. I need to go further. You know, I'm going to go to the bottom of the flowers. And then we can definitely arrange it from there. But this is 6 3/8. So we're going to cut this 6 3/8. Oh, and it cut it just perfect. Look at that. I love it when it does that and it doesn't cut off my words. So this is going to go right on the top. So let's ink those edges. Bye, Bonnie. Well, we're almost done too. We're going to put this on our back, and we've got our cover done for next week. Oh, and see, this is kind of bow. You might have this bowing up, so turn it over if you need to, and then just flatten it a little bit more, and it'll be nice and flat. Well, it's the pixels, and this is my new camera because remember how bad the other one was doing it? So it's these graphics. Hey, Wilbur. Just match that to the bottom. Cover your sides. Grab your cover. Each one will turn out totally different. Every single one of them. will turn out different. So see the difference? No, camera, quit it. Okay, with your album down. Oh, before I do that, I forgot. So I went around the edge with my black ink. You can turn the light on, guys. Oh, I got some sticking over the bottom, but that's okay. Because even if you have some sticking over the bottom like I do, it'll be fine. My camera's not going to be fine here, but sorry. It's throwing a fit. Oh, I love this. Now, the main thing is you got quite a few layers there. I'm trying to make those pixeling and then just check all your edges and your corners. Oh, my word. And there, it doesn't like all these graphs. There's your cover. And like I mentioned, let's just quickly. So let me go ahead with Betsy. So the gray, this back side, is 6 1/4 long, 4 1/4 wide. This piece, 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. And then your 4 by 6 cut apart. We're going to put this down and we're done. I'll clean that glue off in just a second. And then Sally, our cow. I've got paper there that got stuck. And so I may have to recut this. Nope, there we go. Just like so. Also, before you put this down, so I put a piece. So when you open the back on the original one, it wasn't just the gray paper. So it'll be over here on the left side. What you want to do is you want to add another piece. So just using the scrap, I'm going to cut a piece because that's 6 1/4. I'm going to cut it 6 1/8. And this was just left over, so it came out to be like 2 3/4. So when you open the cover, it's not just your gray cardstock. Again, it'll be now on the right hand side, or if you want to be safe, just cover the whole thing, but I didn't want to cut a new piece of paper. Okay, we can now add her to the front. And then if you have a punch or you have your cutters, this is an old Fiskars, and that's what I grabbed. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be so perfect for this. Okay, there's our cover. And you can go ahead and watch this. It'll stay recorded next Friday, 11 a.m. we're going to work on our insides. Bye, everybody, and thanks for spending the afternoon with me.